Greetings. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope wherever you are, life is treating you well. It has been bitterly cold here in Wolverhampton today, and also across the Midlands. And so I hope wherever you are, life is treating you well and you've been in the warm. If you've not been in the warm, I hope business has been good. Now, I've been in contact centre roles pretty much all my working life with a very few exceptions. And across the years, I've seen quite a lot of improvements in the way contact centres are physically and how they operate. But across those years has been a constant theme, which is connectivity. It started off, well, when I first started in my first contact centre role, we were landlines talking to landlines, and I had a desk with a physical hard landline on it. There was no digital as such, it was a computer with a separate telephone, and this was good. You know, you took a call or didn't take a call, as the case may be, and that worked. That worked because a lot of the callers were on the landline. You could hear them pretty clearly for the most part. As time has rolled on and mobile phones have become more and more available, more popular, of course we've seen a move away from the hard landline to a mobile phone you keep in your pocket. This is no bad thing. But with that has come a reduction in the quality of the calls we take. Because whether you're on a hard line in a contact centre or whether you're on a digitised system in the contact centre, you are still faced with the possibility that that call you're making or taking is going to be disrupted by the poor quality cellular phone end. So in a lot of cases, people don't use their telephone properly or don't use it in the right place, and you have a poorer quality call as a result. Now, maybe not insecure. We're going to ignore the security, verification of customers nonsense for now. We're talking about, can you hear what they're asking you to do? Can you hear their answers? Can they hear you? Simple stuff, Who's calling? What do you want? And it's sometimes the case where the call will be such a poor quality you won't know what they want. You won't have a clue. And this is kind of sad in this modern day and age. We can throw so much technology, but yet we still can't have a proper, secure call that we can all enjoy. Now, there are times, of course, when a mobile phone should be excluded from everything. For example, when you're driving, and I get really angry with people who decide to make a call and go off driving and put their mobile phone on the dashboard or keep it to hand and then continue driving whilst doing this. It's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. It really irritates me. If I hear someone calling driving, or I get a slight hint that they're driving, no warning, I will cut them straight off. And I will do that time and time again with no remorse, because that is a call that's going to take me longer, number one, and it puts people in danger. Number two, actually those have equal priority, obviously. Safety is the priority really, but for me, I will cut you off for either one of those reasons. If you're going to take too long, I'm going to move on. That's how you keep your handle time low, or as low as possible, by making sure you are judicious with the way you spend your time. Someone's at the end of a speakerphone connection whilst driving. They are not safe. Their people around them are not safe, and your call might drag on. So no, absolutely not. And by the same token, if somebody's out and about, they also irritate me when they do this. When people have speakerphone on and they shout at the end of their arm. No. And if you're in a call centre job, or if you've ever taken a call where somebody's been doing that, you'll know how hard it is to hear them. And there's a lot of people out there who seem oblivious to how irritating that is. It's like, no, it's time you learned. And if you're in a call centre role like I am, and you cut some of those calls off, power to you, because it's how we keep our average handle time low, isn't it? Because you don't want to waste time with people who are not prepared to focus fully on what you are saying. Am I wrong? Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Now, I love a wired handset, or a wired headset rather. I love, things like this. I love this sort of thing for making a call. It's a cheap and cheerful wired headset, with earbuds that get good range and a microphone. I love that sort of thing because it's a secure connection to my device, or the phone in this case, or whatever computer I'm connected to. And when I make a call with those, it's a good secure connection. The only thing I've got to worry about is the software element of it, and maybe the caller or whoever I'm speaking to, maybe their device at their end, obviously. But from my side, there's very little getting in the way of me and the actual caller, and that's what I like. There are others who disagree, who think, oh, it's nice to have a wireless headset because there's nothing to get tangled on anything. You can gesticulate, move away from the desk if you have a desk, and yeah, there's a freedom there. Yeah, there's a freedom there. But when you introduce a Bluetooth or a Wi-Fi connection into that whole connection, or wire here, I've seen some lovely headsets, Wi-Fi on the headset connecting to your computer with a dongle. They're great, but it's another potential break in the connection, and I don't like them. It's just me. I don't like them. If you disagree, let me know why in the comments, by all means. But maybe you have to agree to disagree. Now, above and beyond your headsets and how good those are, the software can sometimes be the big stumbling block to deal with when it comes to making a call or taking a call and making that sale or doing whatever it happens to be that you want to do. Because a lot of software is designed with a certain number of users in mind. They might say, oh, there's no limit to how many callers you can deal with. It's down to the number of staff you've got available to pick up a headset, surely. But no, there's often actually a very hard limit to what the software can handle realistically with the servers involved, and the connections, the hard connection that can't be changed, the new data pipe and all that. It's very fixed. And there's a point where a lot of software will just top out, and you start to either see new callers being refused entry to the call queue, which is a good thing, or the system will just let as many callers as call through, and they'll sit waiting until someone picks up, but then that slowly eats away at the overall performance of the system, leading to blockiness of the calls, calls dropping out completely, just degradation, sometimes the Dalek sound to people's voices, all this sort of nastiness creeps in, and everyone's having a bad time. Now, you might say, well, surely you could spend more and have better software. Yeah, but where do you draw the line? You can manage the work to a certain extent and try and manage the calls. If you've got ad campaigns, you can manage those to try and reduce the number of calls on a given day and have a predictable spikes where you can have all bums on seats. Fine, but you still need to be very careful what you do, and there are going to be times when you won't predict what's coming. Simple as. So for those times, it's best to have an approach that keeps calls short, because in those situations when you're having a bad day, when your call centre software is just not keeping up, the shorter your call, the better. So if someone calls through and says, I want to make a payment and do da-da-da-da-da, okay, the first thing you're going to do is take that payment and move on. Now, if the call drops just after you've taken a payment, at least the caller's time wasn't really wasted. They've done something, and it's all good. You can rock on to the next thing you want to do. You would try your hardest to keep the call as short as possible. Now, if the call drops out, then you're left with the choice of, shall I take another call, hopefully a quick one, or shall I make things complicated for myself and call back? Now, in my case, I have a flow chart in my head, if you like, when I will call back. Now, if it's something really important that requires me to be touching it, then I will call back. But if it's something that one of my colleagues can handle, someone equally trained, then I will let the caller call back of their own volition when they're free. I don't want someone calling back because if the call drops, a lot of people go, I've wasted enough time on this, I'll go on and do something else. I'll go off to the bathroom, make some food, go off driving, whatever it happens to be. And they won't be in a position to take a call if you call them back. So that's time when you've wasted your time calling them back. They'll say, I'll call when I'm ready. Fine. So if you let people call when they're ready, then they're free, willing and able to take that call or make that call. And you can spend more time with them. They won't begrudge you that. Now, a lot of people will say, yes, but I wasted lots of time speaking to you first of all, and then the call dropped out. I expect you to come back to me. Yeah, I know, but everyone's time's precious, so suck it up. Suck it up, because there are times when you have to just accept that sometimes the technology fails and calls drop out. And a good advisor will make notes, put notes in there somehow as soon as they get back in, and then it's down to the next advisor to speak to whoever calls in when they call in, and hopefully catch up. Yeah. So that's the sort of process I follow. I will only call back under very rare circumstances because that means I will spend most time doing things that are mostly productive, short calls, productive calls, not long-winded, re-established contact calls, which just frankly waste time. They burn through your time, and much like this video will. So I'm going to cut it off there. Yeah. So if take-home message is really be judicious with your time. Think about how can I make best use of the minutes of my day. If you can keep a call short and concise, short and concise, yeah. If you can keep a call short and keep it productive, then you're doing well. If you're letting things roll on longer than they need to, then you need to look again at your processes, how you apply the rules that you've got. If your office has a set of rules that they work to, sometimes you've got to bend with it. Sometimes you've got to decide which rules you're going to apply. And sometimes let them call back. Come on. Whatever you do, have a great day. See you soon and bye for now.